so much. Stephen Richer joins us now. He was an election official in Maricopa County, Arizona from 2021 to 2025 as a Republican. Stephen, always good to have you. Great to see you again. You wrote a piece for the Dispatch today in which you said, among the biggest surprise to you and what the president said last night, the documents shared by the White House, and I'm quoting you directly, in real time refuted or failed to support the president's speech. Wow. How?
Yeah, I was very surprised when I actually went through the documents, which I hope more Americans will do. The Trump administration and the president in his speech presented these documents as if they were going to be bombshells. But if anything, they undermined exactly what the president was saying. In fact, they've been making a lot of the points that you and David were just making in those documents. They say that it would be very hard to have mass fraud across the country because so many systems are closed off, so many systems aren't connected to the internet, and America uses paper ballots and we have post-election audits. And so this was recognized by the security professionals that President Trump was relying on. And the most shocking thing about this is this was Trump's opening punch. This was his opening salvo. And surely I thought he was going to give us his best documents. And if these are his best documents, then it's going to get really bad for the president and his allegations of mass fraud in American elections.
And Stephen, do my audience the benefit of recalling, though it was traumatic for you and many in Maricopa County, what it was like after 2020?
Well, I think for a lot of people, this is just a political game. And this is all just noise. And yeah, politicians lie, but they're always lying. So what does it matter? And I'll tell you that it matters for a number of reasons. One, it materially decreases the trust of average Americans who might drop out of the system. But two, I've seen the downstream effects of what it means when election workers are interacting with voters. It gets much more confrontational. And that leads to questions, that leads to shouting, that leads to disruptions in voting locations. But eventually, it even leads to death threats. It leads to physical interactions where there's confrontations. And it leads to, in my county, in Maricopa County, spending millions of dollars to secure our facility after all of the rigmarole as a fallout from the 2020 election. So there are real consequences for real human beings as a result of these lies.
As you know, Stephen, part of what the president pointed to last night or hinted at is that no one really in America at the state level calls the question on the incidence of non-citizens voting. But in your piece for the Dispatch, you talk about a survey, rigorous survey done in Utah of more than 2 million registered voters. Utah found 27 confirmed non-citizens, 12 of whom voted in the November 2020 election. Michigan reported in its detailed audit of Macomb County, one county in Michigan, some 725,000 registered voters. It found 4 apparent non-citizens on their rolls, 1 who voted. So states do pay attention to this.
Absolutely. And over the last few years, we've seen a number of affirmative investigations by the states who have that data at their disposal, just as David mentioned, and they've looked at their entire voter rolls. And the returns that they have had have been wildly inconsistent with what the president reported last night. And that's why, just like you, just like David, I want to see the work behind the president's allegation. But if you go into the data file on the White House website and you look up, okay, show me how you got to 250,000 plus non-citizens who are registered in these 4 states. Well, all they have is a paragraph or two that just says they ran it through the federal SAVE program and they found that out. And I guess call me skeptical, but I'm going to need more than that in order to substantiate such a significant claim that is so inconsistent with the audits that have been recently done by red states and blue states into their own voter rolls.
Stephen Richer, I appreciate the time, sir, very much. Thank you.